All right, so before we get started, there's something that I'm going to confess. I have not read when you guys have had this discussion. I have not read it, and therefore I don't fully understand what you guys are talking about. But why don't you like David Hayter?
David Hayter?
Isn't that his name? The guy from no, David Harbour. Harbour.
Oh. Well, I'm trying to remember. For the Thunderbolts, I think I was mostly the Red Guardian's only previous appearance was okay. The Russian accent bordered on being like, I don't love it, but he was comedic enough for it to be fine. I enjoy him in Stranger Things, but I think it's mostly the Red Guardian part that it's like, I'm not opposed to him as an actor, and then it was like, oh, he's here in James Bond.
See, that's what I was most curious about, only because our mutual friend, every once in a while you guys will talk about David Harbour, and it sounds as though you're like his worst, like, I don't want to say worst enemy because you don't know him. Like,
I am his biggest critic.
Yeah.
Of his Red Guardian, yes.
Okay.
Of Hopper, I think Hopper was good. I think the what do you call it? The return in the series may have been a bit like, were you planning on having a season 4? Because you could have just been fine. So, less about his acting chops and more of the character choices. Because, I mean, if he's in... I haven't watched, like, that Santa Claus shoot-'em-up action one with him.
I want to see if it's any good. Okay, yeah. I was genuinely curious because when he showed up in this movie, I was like, oh, I wonder if Justin's going to be like, screw that guy in particular.
Worst.
Yeah. And then also, you know, of all of these celebrity lookalikes that people will accuse me of being, David Harbour is the name that has shown up more often than anything else. But that's like 3 times. So it's not like there are people who are always like, you look like David Harbour.
David Harbour all the time.
Exactly. It's happened thrice. That's why it's in my head. And so, whatever. Hello and welcome to Potato Chip Pictures, a movie franchise review podcast. My name is B. Sammy Davis.
Hey, I'm Justin again.
And today we are looking at the second Daniel Craig movie in the Bond franchise, Quantum of Solace.
It's a sequel. Is it the only sequel?
I was about to say, I think this is the very first time we've ever had a direct sequel.
Because, like, GoldenEye happened, but it's never, like, included.
And same with On Her Majesty's Secret Service, when we had, I think it was, well, now I have to look it up.
Lazenby?
So it was Diamonds Are Forever
Tracy?
after. So we had On Her Majesty's Secret Service with Lazenby, and then Sean Connery came back. And in the opening sequence, he's looking for Blofeld, but obviously he doesn't get him. Spoilers if you didn't listen to those older episodes. And so that's the closest we've ever had to a true sequel, was just that opening mission. This whole movie is a sequel to the last movie. It's crazy.
I didn't realize it after having watched all of them now. It's like, oh, okay. this is the first time that he's got a larger thread that he's chasing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even the Spectre movies, they were just treated like villain of the week more than a bigger threat. So yeah, this is a fascinating experiment in the franchise's history. And while it did well, it didn't do as well as the last one. So this one had the
can
largest
kind of see
budget.
why.
Yeah. This one had the largest budget at $200 million. I've heard as high as $230 million. That's compared to the last movie's $150 million.
Oof.
The last movie returned $606 million. This one returned $586 million.
Okay.
So we're like $14 million shy, and it cost us $50 to $80 million more to make less money. Still making a ludicrous amount of money, $500 million, but it's not going in the right direction, and that is a problem sometimes. But
well, I think the sequel choice makes it difficult to pull in the same threads. Like, he doesn't really have a romantic interest that is living. There's kind of a fling, for lack of a better word. Mm-hmm. But other than that, there's no Vesper. She's already dead.
Yeah, she's still the Bond girl in this movie, and she's dead. Like, so it is really dependent on you having gone to and enjoyed the last one. And honestly, the way this movie ends makes me think that they had wanted it to be a serialized type of storytelling, where maybe the next movie would be a direct sequel to this movie. They're not going to follow that trend, but
wise choice, I think.
Yeah. I get the impression that may have been an idea that they had with this reboot, and seeing that people didn't like it at the time kind of hurt the movie. But I'm going to, without revealing my score, I am going to say, having watched these movies back to back, I liked it better than I expected I would. I had more fun with it.
I think it's pretty average.
I'm going to say I'm kind of in there with you. I'm somewhere in that it's pretty average range, but I was worried that I was going to walk away saying like a 2 or a 3, where I was like, this movie sucks. And if I can reveal something, because it's right at the beginning of the movie, the action in this movie is probably a 2 or a 3. This is...
Yeah, I feel like they tried to make a choice in saying something about, I don't know, what would we call it? Whatever Bond is feeling is why all of these action scenes are not front and center. They're all muted. Even the volume cuts out, and it's like, so.
And they're hard to focus on because Bond is unfocused and he can't do it. So I can see the artistic decision. Yeah. Doesn't change the fact that it sucks.
The concept of an artistic decision.
Yeah. And once again, we've got to throw my fun little fan theory in and say this movie starts with a scene that's directly related to the rest of the movie, and I think the rest of the movie suffers for it.
I even finished the sentence.
Yep.
I think it's the right call on this one. This one is it just doesn't have... Sometimes I enjoy the clean-cut ending to, hey, okay, this is the next Bond adventure. This one relies on expecting Bond to feel a certain way after, and I think Daniel Craig conveyed it as much as he could, of being guilty for her death, but then, like, the ending doesn't quite hit the right tone for... I don't know if he was actually in love with her, and then was betrayed, but then stopped thinking that she fell in love with him. It's a little confusing on the romantic side, and I think that could just have been, leave that in the past and let's have a different adventure and hit all the regular Bond notes.
Mm-hmm. That very well could be it. And it's also possible that Bond's trying to act cool and detached to impress M, and be like, no, I am mission ready. I am ready to go. But it's an interesting and disjointed car chase. One of the things about this movie is that when they aren't doing fast cuts that don't really focus on anything, they are showing unrelated things. And I can't even parse in my head where the title sequence comes in because it goes from car chase to underground.
Sienna.
So I guess car chase and then title sequence.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, car chase. He goes into Sienna, kind of parks the car, walks to the trunk, and opens the trunk to a not dead Mr. White.
After the car chase of people shooting him with a machine gun.
Yeah. It's like, if watching it the first time, it's like, oh, okay, so he's got someone in the trunk. Watching it the second time, it's like, he had someone in the trunk. They've got to be dead.
Yeah. For as many times as the gunner missed Bond, but hit the car, and this is not a Q-Tech car, so...
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's one of my least favorite car chases. The cars are so pretty to look at the very beginning, but as soon as they start taking battle damage, it's just another very big action sequence.
And I think they start off the film with the kind of artistic feel of it's muted. You could hear cars, you can hear gunshots, and then it blows into focus all of the noise and car chase and gunshots. So it was an interesting start, and I think it was nice, but then they do it like 2 more, maybe 3 more times where the action scene is just muted and it doesn't convey anything extra to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's Vesper. I'm like, well, I mean, Vesper's dead, and you keep saying you don't care about her, but you are diving after this organization, so I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. But no time to, get into the actual plot because we've got to have the title song with Jack White and Alicia Keys.
I didn't hate it.
I'm the opposite. I hated it.
I couldn't tell you what they're saying, but...
Yeah, it sounds as though the vocals were recorded as a first practice session, and rather than re-recording when they got better at the song, they just used that. So,
okay.
I don't know. I'm just throwing out accusations to try to explain why this song is so terrible, because it is... It sounds like they can't quite find the key while they're singing, but they're having a great time. Like, these are 2 artists who are very popular in the late aughts, and they're enjoying singing together, but I don't think they know what the song is. I don't think the song knows what it is. And
it's like a rock song, but
it's not going on any of my playlists.
Yeah. I liked which one is it? I liked Casino Royale better, and then including the return to the sexy women intro, except we're gonna make them made out of sand. I'm like, is there anything as sexy as sand?
Not if you're Anakin Skywalker.
Well, yeah. It is a little bit like, okay, I mean, yes, sand dunes can carry the shape and curves, but it's sand. Sand women does not, I don't know. That doesn't sound like Bond.
It sounds pretty awful, but who knows? This Bond seems to enjoy pain, so
I guess so.
That's terrible. This I don't know. I will probably one of these days have to go through and watch all of these title sequences back to back to really make a decision. But this might be one of my least favorites. Like, I've said that at least 2, maybe 3 times now, but I really dislike this one all the way through.
Let's add it to the wind up, to the, wrap up, that's what you call it.
Yeah.
Because that can't be more than 30 minutes, right?
Oh man, I hate to tell you this, but we're probably going to spend a regular sized episode with a wrap up.
Oh no, I meant the intro.
Oh yeah, like, watching all of them, that's like a half an hour maybe. That can't be too long. Maybe an hour if some of these are longer, but yeah, I think I prefer Dr. No's triple opening credits to this movie's single song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. Well, not great out of 10 for the intro song.
That is a pretty great score. I'm going to take it all the way down to a 1. I'm just easy with that. But yeah, we are now in Italy. There's, I guess, a horse race about to take place, but Bond is going to go torture Mr. White right next to it.
I mean, I get that we like the feel of Bond being in random places, and so, like, I can excuse that. It's a nice setup for getting it and the fight scene to be more difficult, I assume. But of the action where M's bodyguard gets revealed as part of Mr. White's organization and they take off and Bond chases them, the most exciting part is in this little glass, I don't know, hall, cathedral, dome thing.
That is the conclusion
I don't know what it is.
To the fight.
Oh, I don't like everything else about the fight, so.
I also don't. The thing that stands out to me is that we keep cutting back to the surface where the horse race is happening. And by the time Bond and the villain finally go to the surface, the horse race is done. Like, they never like, why did we have to watch any of that horse race? It had nothing to do with the actual foot chase, I guess, unless to tell us that there are people around, but they've never needed to do that before. He could have just popped up and, there's people around. Like, that part bugs me so much.
Racking my brain trying to think of why it would be necessary.
Yeah, I mean, they crossed the racetrack, but again, the race is over. The horses are done. Like, it doesn't matter that they crossed the racetrack.
I did think while they were chasing, I was curious how close to the Jason Bourne films this one was, because the shaky cam was getting a little bit rough for trying to enjoy. Like, I would like to see who's running from who. Are we focusing on Bond or on the guy that's running away?
Well, and I
might not be able to tell.
That's my problem with the action for this entire movie. I feel like every time we get into an action sequence, we're getting shaky cam with really fast cuts. So you don't get any time to focus or comprehend what is happening. And that was a very popular trend during this period of action filmmaking, but it's annoying. It gets more and more annoying the more you see it in other movies, because I think even the Star Trek reboot did the same thing, shaky cams with fast cuts. It's like, stop it.
I mean, I enjoyed the first Star Trek reboot. I don't think I watched the other ones.
Ooh boy, I would love to do that, because it would be so fun to, like, not consume any of the television shows and only do the movies.
I mean, the first one was fun, but I mean, I would compare it to Casino Royale in a reboot, because it seemed to take itself seriously in that this is a spaceship show. We're going to see aliens and they're going to look cool and they're not going to be just humanoids. But we'll have one that is specifically like a human, but no.
Yeah. So you mentioned that the fight ends in that glass area. Like, you're right. It's some historical building. They crash through a glass roof, and then there's still glass everywhere for them to crash through. They get tangled up in wiring, and of course Bond will get the jump on him and the
upper
kill.
Hand.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say I love about it was when they knocked over some of the stuff in a stunt and it fell down and hit the camera and shook the camera. I was like, okay, I enjoy that it has a visceral in the moment feel. Although I'm sure that it was like, okay, we're going to keep that in because that happened. It was cool. Yeah, that was cool.
It is. I'll agree. It is cool. It's fun to have the action invade our part of the world. So I'm into that. And of the foot chase, the entirety of that historical area with all the glass is the most interesting and probably the most visually coherent because you're able to kind of keep track of who is where pretty easily.
The guy drops a portcullis in front of Bond at one point, and it's like, hold on, what happened? Are you in a castle? Okay.
So they were in those tunnels, and that's where the portcullis came down. And when Bond just turned and ran the other way, I immediately started thinking, has he been playing the Assassin's Creed games? There's always an underground chase where someone will hit a portcullis, and you just, gently turn to the left, and you'll eventually meet up with them again.
Find them again. Yeah.
What was the point of the portcullis? Who knows?
Why is it underground? I don't know.
I mean, that's just where they were torturing Mr. White. They didn't get much information out of him. For me, the best things about this movie are when we do slow down and have conversations. So I do like that M reveals that Vesper's boyfriend left some hair at her apartment, and then they found his supposed corpse, but the DNA test did not match. So the boyfriend is still out there. Bom, bom, bom.
I think it's difficult to tease an organization as being so scrupulous and so powerful that they left some hair out, but it's definitely the guy's hair.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a little bit weird, but it did play into the whole fact that even Mr. White was like, we're over here scared that you're watching us, but you don't even know who we are. You don't know that we exist. And so that, that was pretty cool. But M, because this is a direct sequel, M doubts that Bond is truly ready to go. But Bond is going to go anyway, because that's just the kind of guy he is.
Didn't at the end of the first movie she be like, now you know not to trust anyone? Okay, but... Do you think he's ready then? I feel like that's what the end of the first movie was.
That's what I thought too. End of the first movie
through his first mission.
You have learned. You're ready to be a professional now, and this one
she does.
Like, you're not ready.
Kind to do of. Yeah, she does kind of say that she trusts him once he, I think, evades capture in the elevator later on. But initially she's like no, but then she's like, figure out what's going on to this new guy. I think we see in this next scene, but I don't even remember his name, but he's Rory Kinnear. Bill Tanner is his name in the show. He's next to M a lot of the times. Okay.
Kind of like a Miss Moneypenny type assistant.
Kinda. Yeah. I kind of felt like, is he set up to be M's replacement at some point?
Could be. Could be that's someone that's going in to be trained that much. Could also be that they wanted to have a Miss Moneypenny, but they didn't want to have a Miss Moneypenny. And they were trying to change things up. And they just never got around to really characterizing this this particular person, but he does prove interesting as he shows up. But we're still in Siena, where Bond's gonna go break into the bodyguard's apartment because that's what he does.
They find some like connection with money because this bodyguard, they didn't know that he was crooked, but there's someone else that has this money, and M says that's thin. The guy says, well, it's gonna X, Y, Z, it'll be fine. Like, kind of hand wave okay, Bond has to go somewhere else to get more information.
Yeah, it goes everywhere without going anywhere. It's so bizarre. We've got another action sequence in the apartment. We get another car chase when the not Bond girl shows up. I forget what her name is.
Not Bond girl, basically. I don't know. Is that her?
Is it Camille?
Oh, her name is Olga. Well, yes, Camille is her character name.
The actress is Ukrainian, and they had her playing a Bolivian person. So
it was like her parents were supposed to be like Bolivian and Russian, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, yes. It's hard to... I mean, she's fine. It probably wouldn't fly today in terms of casting, but I don't think anybody knew who the actress was.
Sure.
So they're fine. They're going to forgive it. But she shows up in a car. She's talking to Bond about some kind of deal, and he pulls a gun on her. Like, he doesn't know he's pulling a gun on her. He's like, someone wants to kill you.
Assumed the identity of the guy that he killed in the apartment and met her downstairs because he's just trying to follow the trail. And I think
it's a paper-thin lead, but he is going to follow that paper-thin lead.
Watching it a second time, it felt funny because he's like, I'm actually not here to kill you. So when he's like, opens the suitcase, finds a gun and a picture of her, and it's like, oh, somebody's trying to kill you. And she's like, well, obviously it's probably you.
You're the one with the gun, and you're holding it relatively in my direction.
So I thought that was a little bit of comedy in a movie that's not very funny very often.
Exactly. I've said it before. Even the worst movies have great moments. I don't think this is the worst movie by even a far stretch. And that's one of those charming moments where I genuinely gave it a good smile. And when the motorcycle guy comes up and he's like, you were supposed to kill her. And I'm just like, you didn't even know who your partner was?
Yeah.
So, both of those moments gave me a little bit of a chuckle, and I'm gonna be fine with that completely. I think that's okay. You can give me a little chuckle, but Bond chases this lady down to the scene that probably makes me angriest of all. Like, so far, everything has been a little bit weird. But yes, it's not just that it's confusing. It also makes me mad because Camille goes to the villain, Dominic Green, and accuses him of just having tried to kill her. And then she gets shown some dude that he literally just killed to be like, look, I could kill you. And then we find out that, yes, indeed, he did try to kill her.
Yeah, I feel like they wanted her to confront him about killing her because she would have, like, who else knows her around here that would have tried to kill her? And then, but she needed to stay around, so it's like the world's most confusing game of who knows what.
Yes.
Because he knows that she essentially was leaking information because the geologist that he killed said that she contacted him. She says he contacted her, and it's like, at least somebody makes a decision, because the villain, whatever his name is, Dominic Green, sends her as part of like a trade to this general dude that he's trying to turn into the president. And it's like, well, at least he decided to just again try to kill her.
And apparently this General Medrano has only one taste, and that taste is violently going after women. It's his only character trait for this entire movie. And so I'm going to give him a thumbs down as a character entirely, because he only has a single character trait, and it's gross. And I get it that they're trying to make him a villain, but
he's a bad guy.
Even Dominic Green has a more interesting character than this Bolivian general. But the idea is that general...
Barely.
Yes, barely indeed. This General Medrano wants to overthrow the current government in Bolivia, and the deal is there is a perfectly square patch of land that Dominic Green wants for his organization. And to sweeten the deal, as you said, they're going to give the human being Camille to the very gross General Medrano. And how on earth will she get out of this particular sticky situation?
She's going to try and pull a gun. But, I mean, for the little that we know about her, at least they tried to fill in the gaps and say, well, she wants to kill him because he killed her parents. Like, okay, cool. It seems like the general knows that he killed her parents and she survived. Why is she not being frisked for weapons?
Yeah. Why is she able to get this close? But, it doesn't matter because she still gets captured. We need Bond to save the day with an admittedly cool stunt of him driving a motorcycle over a bunch of boats until he can get to a boat of his own. So I like that. That's
Bond on
cool.
Boats.
Yeah, it's cool to see a motorcycle on boats. I had fun with that particular thing. Didn't like the boat chase that immediately followed. Yes.
Doesn't it also? Yeah, when she gets knocked out, the chase kind of ends and it goes muted. So we have the cars at the beginning are muted, and then I think I want to say, wasn't there a second part? No, maybe not.
Well,
this might be the second one. When she gets
knocked out, I think the chase continues because Bond has to get away. But yeah, I think the music kind of dies down and we're led to believe that maybe she's dead and maybe something bad has happened. But the chase doesn't continue much longer, but Bond does get away, and then he just delivers Camille. I don't even know where. Like, I'm trying to remember where he takes her.
He's like at a dock, and he hands her off to a guy at the dock saying, like, something.
Yeah,
I don't even know what he says.
Take her to the hospital or something. Like, it's so weird.
Oh, well, so he gets somewhere.
And here's the other thing. Okay, so now he gets M and MI6 involved, I think, because he starts doing searches on Dominic Green. He shows up to talk to the bald dude you're talking about, where he's hey, do a search on Dominic Green. And the guy's like, there's like millions of people named Dominic Green. Like, give me something. And then it just so happens it's, one of the wealthiest people in the world right now.
Yeah. Sends him a picture. It's like, oh, yep, that's him. He was the bad guy.
So we know that he's going to a fundraiser, and so Bond still has a trail to follow.
Hooray!
I think the best thing about this movie, and it might be the best thing by a large margin, is the opera house sequence. I genuinely love it. I think it's so good. I think it's just good because I keep saying that a good spy movie needs to be kind of a cross between a mystery and an action. And Bond does some really good detective work at this opera scene. He gets into position. He's able to assess the situation. He's able to find and infiltrate the organization and get one of their earpieces and then go up to a vantage point. And when he cuts into the conversation, I think that is so good because I'm sitting here like, everyone's going to get up and start walking away. And that's exactly what Bond wants them to do because he can start taking pictures and sending those off to MI6 to start identifying the people who are at the mission. Like, this sequence to me is a 10 out of 10 sequence just slapped in the middle of the movie. And I'm like, whoa.
And it's one half of a coin that shines because the other half is in the muted Jason Bourne fight scene that we don't really get to enjoy for ourselves.
Yeah, the back half of the opera house scene when Bond now has to get away.
Yeah, I'll agree with you initially that the opera scene is more fun. It's more, it feels lighter because I think at one point he sees that different bags are being handed out to different people, follows the guy and sees him about to go into a bathroom or somewhere, and the crowd kind of fans over the moment like Assassin's Creed or something, but you just catch Bond like violently flinging himself into the room, and it's like that's the Bond spy. It's not like Hitman, but it's very aggressive but still concealed spy work, so it's fun in that way.
Yeah, he's got a style that you can definitely point to the Hitman games and be like, this is kind of based on Bond. But I think Bond is a lot more flashy, even than MI6 wants him to be, because that was the big issue from the last movie, was that he doesn't care who sees what he's doing. In fact, he knows that shock will add to the surprise and he'll get an advantage. So if he can burst into a room violently, he's definitely going to throw the person off when he gets in there. Yeah.
I did kind of roll my eyes that the stuff in the bag is an earpiece and a pin that has the letter Q. Like, you guys are kind of cutting the reputation off at the knees.
It's kind of like the Hydra pin from the MCU, where for some reason Hydra members in S.H.I.E.L.D. will wear their pins.
I have a pin.
Yeah. That's how we know that we're part of the secret bad guy organization. No one will figure us out. So the end of the opera house is a fight sequence. It's not that good, but the thing that really sticks in my craw as the thing that kind of bugs me about a lot of this movie, and a little bit of the last movie too, and that is where Bond will just take the blame. So there's that hitman or the guard or whatever that Bond is fighting at the rooftop. He grabs him and hangs him over the ledge. The guy doesn't talk and Bond drops him. But the guy's okay. He lands on a car and stands up, and then Dominic Green's man gets out and shoots him twice. And then when M calls Bond, she's like, you dropped a man from a roof and shot him twice in the chest. And Bond's like, yep, that's what I did. And I'm like, no, you didn't.
Yeah. I think it only needs to happen so that the movie happens, because if he managed to convince M that he didn't, like, or even tries to convince her, she has to have some reason to really doubt him, which doesn't really play into the respect that she's starting to give him.
And it's so dumb because it is, okay, I know that a lot of the time things have to happen because the plot has to happen.
Yeah.
But this is one of those things where the movie gaslights us and lies directly to our faces just so M can cancel Bond's credit cards and passport so that he has to go find someone to help him. So that we can have another character from the last movie come back into this movie to remind us that this indeed is a sequel. And we get Mathis back.
Do we get Mathis before we see Felix, or?
Yeah. Well, we might have Felix in the plane at some point in this period. Because, yeah, there's going to be a scene. Let's cover, before we talk about Mathis, because Mathis is a whole thing. We get the scene in the plane where Dominic Green and his German comedic side piece is hanging out.
His name is not Stamper, but it's Elvis. Oh boy,
Elvis. That makes him even worse.
Stampa. Elvis. I don't know if you can do that with a Stamper accent.
Elfish. It sounds too much like elfish, so I can't. Yeah. I don't think I can.
Oh boy.
I don't like Elvis at all. I think he's one of the worst villains that we've ever had in this franchise. But he's in the plane. There's a very angry Jeffrey Wright brooding in the corner. And then, a very easygoing and very mustachioed David Harbour.
Greg Beam. I guess his first name is Greg. I don't know that they say it.
Yeah, I don't remember. I know they say Beam, and I didn't get the impression that he was even in the CIA as he was speaking with Felix. I think he's State Department working with Felix Leiter of the CIA. But, he outs Bond to Dominic Green. Felix obviously stayed loyal. But also, now we know Felix did not die when he supposedly apprehended the last guy, Le Chiffre.
See, and I swear I looked at his character thing, and it was like Casino Royale and No Time to Die. And I was like, oh, I guess he's dead, though. Nope, he is not dead.
He is he's not a significant part. He probably has as much screen time here as he did in the previous movie. It's just that he only gets like one scene with Bond, so it doesn't feel as good or impactful.
It's still nice that they do get to talk.
It is. And it gets to further that relationship because, again, there are things about this movie that I genuinely do like. And as little as we get to see Felix Leiter, I love Jeffrey Wright, and I'm so glad we got him back. And I like his Felix. He's grumpy in this movie. He plays a very grumpy Felix. But that's because he knows Dominique's a bad guy too. So, it's cool.
Well, before we nail down exactly where we are, I want to do some plot points from the opera because I wrote down them talking, I don't remember exactly what they were saying, but at one point they reference focusing on the Canadian, and that only comes back at the very end when there's a Canadian agent dating the Vesper's boyfriend. So
good on
I
you
wrote it down being like,
that.
what is the Canadian? Because it felt like just a throwaway line.
I let that go completely over my head.
Aside from that, so I kind of like that they do call back, but it is the entire movie away when the reference pays off. And didn't like about the opera resolution is the M is talking to Bond, but it's in between this rather vigorous face cleaning that she's doing, and it was like, I mean, I get that it's any time of the night that this is happening, but I couldn't tell if it was like frustration with Bond that we're trying to convey, or just she's not in the field, so Bond isn't going to take her too seriously or something. It was very like, okay, you're taking care of your end of day routine. All right. Like, but it's, I don't know. Is it to show that the stakes are not they don't get to her because she's just taking care of her normal stuff, but she's also frustrated. So I'm like, yeah, well, it does get to you. But anyway, that was a balancing point of, I enjoy the reference that eventually pays off, and enjoy the Bond breaking down their communication and getting information. And I didn't like the muted fight scene or the makeup removal.
I'm okay with the makeup removal. It reminds me of my own life, so I'm fine with it. But okay. The rest of the fight sequence after the good spy work is where I'm like, why did they do it like this? And, I'm going to be saying that every action sequence. I'm going to be like, why did they do it like this? But again, I'm fine with the talkie points. And when we get to Renee Mathis, who explains to us that he was innocent, despite him being turned in by Bond in the last movie. Apparently he was tortured by MI6. And when they couldn't prove anything and decided he was innocent, they bought him a nice manor out in somewhere.
Bond manages to convince him to come back from retirement. And I was like, oh, man. I watched on the second viewing, I was like, this is so mean of you, Bond. The man has a villa and I assume a beautiful partner. Just
a gorgeous
to
partner.
Hang out. And you managed to get him out of retirement to go die.
All he needed from the guy was a passport and some credit cards. And he further talks him into coming on the mission. And you're right. Like, he's not long for the world, and it's because of Bond. Bond is 100% responsible for the death of Renee Mathis. I'm going to put it out there. That's the official conclusion of Potato Chip Pictures.
I think he does feel bad about it when that scene comes up, but it is like, it does feel like Bond didn't have anyone to talk through the airplane moments where nothing action is happening, but where
it's another talkie scene, and it's good. It's touching. I do like it. It's brief, but it does show the compassion and respect that these two men have for each other. So I'm good with it. The best thing this movie does is dialogue. Like, that's just where I'm at.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, but now we finally get to go to Bolivia, where Quantum has its eyes, where the Americans believe they're going to get some oil, and where there's a dictator on the rise. He hasn't taken over yet, but Bond is there, and he's immediately greeted by another British agent, another MI6 field operative named Strawberry Fields.
Oh, man. I wrote down Fields. I didn't realize it's Strawberry.
I don't know if they ever tell us her first name, because she introduces herself as Fields, just Fields. And then I'm reading her character name.
Yeah. Later, M's like, oh, she was just a desk person. And it's like, and you sent her to collect Bond?
Yeah. Like, why didn't you send a dude?
Why did you send someone with more training?
Another 00 agent?
Yeah. She made it sound like she was just someone in the office. You're close. Proximity-wise, you're closest. And we're expecting,
Yeah.
Bond doesn't use it at any other point, but he's got that super charm.
And he uses it immediately here. I mean, I'm charmed by it. I'm charmed by it too. They go to their first hotel, and Bond walks in, looks around, turns around, and just leaves. And he's like, I don't care that we're teachers. We're teachers who just won the lottery, and we're staying in a 5-star hotel.
Makes me think of a cat when you explain it that way.
Yeah.
This isn't for me. I'm going somewhere else nicer.
Yep. So I did like that as well. And then, they get into their room, and I don't even know if Bond truly seduces her. He just walks away, and she's seduced.
Yep. Takes 10 seconds for it to happen.
Yep, there's that superpower.
We fade to the next scene where Mathis is trying to bring him invite for this party, and Bond's half naked, and Fields is all the way naked and
mad at herself.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, add it in there. I don't know that you necessarily needed it, but I can't remember what else she's in, but she's nice.
Yeah, I liked
Gemma Arterton.
The name doesn't ring any bells.
Oh, she's the I don't know if it's Princess in the Prince of Persia's movie. I don't know when I watched that, but I recall her being.
So she is in that movie.
Yeah, I don't know what else she's in.
That movie was terrible.
Yeah, but I think she played the part all right. I kind of expected her to be a spy, because why would you send just a desk person to do this job? We find that out later after she's dead. Yeah,
it's terrible, but whatever. And she's briefly in the movie. They go to the fundraiser that Green is having. Camille is at this fundraiser, and she's trying to get herself killed again because she interrupts one of the fundraising moments that Green is having with some random wealthy person. The guy's writing a check, and then Camille comes up and is like, so about that genocide you committed.
Yeah. Why is she there?
And why is she so forward like this? She's so bad at it.
Because the general's not here. Why are you here?
Yeah.
So Bond can save you from not getting even close to your goal. I think it's just an excuse to get her into the pipeline so she can move with Bond now and be there. I don't know that and then eventually get to the general.
Exactly, and I think you hit the nail on the head. There are some parts of this movie that happen because they wrote another part later in the movie to happen a certain way, and they didn't figure out how to get there effectively, so Green is threatening to throw Camille off the top of this building. It looks like it's only a single story up, but whatever.
People falling off buildings is not fatal, so bad call.
Yeah, we saw someone fall 2 or 3 stories, and they didn't die.
Later on, I think he says that she's some Secret Service, Bolivian Secret Service or something. Yeah, and that just makes it less she could have been infiltrating the compound like you were, Bond, and she could have even gotten the drop on you, and that would make sense if she were maybe a better spy than you, or even equal spy than you.
But instead, she goes right to her target, right to the bad guy, and says, "You're the bad guy. Hey, everybody!"
Her target is the general. That's why it didn't she didn't need to go after this guy unless she thought she could get him to hand her over to the general again.
Maybe
it's not gonna work out.
Yeah. Well,
motivation, does not make sense.
They are now together, and as they're escaping, Fields shows up again. Apparently, she was looking for Bond, but she sees Bond running off with another woman and immediately decides to yes-and the situation by tripping Elvis down the stairs and breaking his neck. It's not going to slow him down, but
I think that's the last thing she does before she dies, right?
That is her last time in this movie as a living person.
I feel like that's probably why we add one bit of something so that it's like, oh, she recognized the situation. It kind of helped out. It kind of made it look like Elvis was wearing like a toupee because it looked like it fell off or something like that.
Yeah, that's the other reveal, that Elvis, our henchman, is bald and wears a balding toupee. Elvis is the worst henchman that this franchise has ever given us. And I get so mad every time he's on screen.
Yeah, I have to say that usually I will turn on the movie in the background to just kind of get the glimpses of what's happening. And we are so far ahead of where the movie is by now. Usually we are running behind, but this thing has so little in it.
It doesn't have a lot to do.
It doesn't have a lot in it to talk about, so just putting that out there.
Yeah, it's not one of the best, but Camille and Bond are together, and they immediately get pulled over by the police, and the police want the trunk open because apparently while Bond and Camille were doing their thing upstairs, for some reason, Green had Mathis killed and put inside of Bond's trunk.
Halfway killed.
Yeah.
95% dead. He's
still there. He's mostly dead. He's still a little bit there. Okay, so it leads to another fight scene, and then Bond and Mathis are able to talk, and I will admit that I liked the scene between the dying Mathis and Bond. It's very well performed. It's good.
It feels heartfelt in that maybe we don't see Bond feeling bad that he brought him out of retirement, but I feel like there's a connection of he asked Mathis if that's a cover name, and it's like James Bond could very well be a cover name because this is the end of all spy work. You are killed somewhere and tossed in the trash, and so to see two spies kind of bond over that, it was nice.
It really, like, such a dumb setup. Doesn't make any sense to get there, but it's such a good scene. And that's how a lot of this movie feels. Like, they wrote the good scenes. Everyone knew those were good scenes, and then they couldn't figure out how to piece these good scenes together. So everything connecting it kind of sucks, and that's the main issue. But yes, I was really touched by this scene. I was heartbroken to see Mathis gone.
Yeah.
That's a shame. It worked for me. And then having them immediately back on the mission, they're going to buy an airplane to figure out what's going on. And for some reason, selling their brand new SUV, they can only afford the biggest piece of crap plane on the yard.
Let's get an airplane. I'm like, they have sinkholes that I don't think they're necessarily trying to get down, but in the sinkholes is the plot. So we need you to get into them with an action scene. Yes. So fight some fighter jet and stall and jump out of the plane to get in the sinkhole. And it's like, were they flying the plane to this hotel in the desert that seems like you can get there by car? Probably less suspiciously than an airplane on a radar. Just get a dune buggy and get yourself out there.
See, and I don't even think that's their destination. I think they're only flying over the sinkholes. I think in Bond's head, he's going to magically look down the sinkhole from the airplane and be able to know what Quantum wants in the middle of the Bolivian desert.
I guess so.
It's not until they are rescued, with heavy air quotes, by a fighter jet coming in and shooting them down When they are forced out of the plane, that's when they discover the plot. They discover that Quantum has been storing the fresh water.
Utilities fraud.
Yeah.
This is the big bad of this movie. I mean, Quantum, but...
This movie is a statement about Nestle, because I think it was around 2008 when their CEO said that he didn't believe water should be a human right and that corporations should be allowed to buy up water supplies. And I'm, I'm one of those people who tends to think, yeah, it's one of those things where it is socially a very powerful statement. It's just nobody cared. Nobody cared at the time. Nobody cares today. And that sucks. Like, ugh. Because I'm one of those people who thinks that our right to life should mean that the things that are required to live should be guaranteed by your government. And the villains in this movie take a hard stance on the contrary, where they're like, no, we want to buy up the water supply and jack up the prices and get rich on water.
It just doesn't seem like a global scale threat. Mm-hmm. This is water in Bolivia. Mm-hmm. Are they doing this in all the other countries? I feel like that'd be difficult to do the same thing. Very expensive, maybe. Maybe more expensive to do that than just, I don't know, overthrow a government and take as much as you can.
Yeah, like this is such a hyper localized plan and scheme for this international organization that even extends to the top of the British government. But
yeah.
Yeah, they learn what's going on. We're able to see some remote village in Bolivia where, it's always cool to see some remote culture. That's something that Bond used to show us fairly frequently, and now we're getting it once in a while.
The water runs out right as Bond and the girl need to leave, so there's a bus that takes everyone away.
Yeah,
the bus must have been chartered by
when the
Dominic
last
Green.
Drop comes, bring the bus.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to see the culture. It was a little more unbelievable to think of the timeline of it's a very convenient bus to take all the people away once they've given up after 5 minutes of no water being there anymore.
Yes. But then we get to the other thing in this movie that I think is 10 out of 10 top scores. Like, I love the attempted capture of Bond that is coming up soon.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe you dislike it, but for me...
Trying to place where it is, because after the party, the police show up.
They take the bus, so we're, way past the airplane that was hard to watch, the parachute that was hard to watch.
Yeah. He gets a note after they get back to the hotel.
Don't remember who gave him the note. It was the receptionist, but I don't know who wrote the note. If it was Camille or
some British lady, and so I thought it was Strawberry Fields. Yeah.
Okay, I'm willing to accept that. I don't know why she went to her death. They have the callback to Goldfinger with Strawberry Fields covered in black gold, crude oil.
I felt bad that she was killed.
Yeah, that part sucks. The fact that a somewhat interesting character is already dead. But I was more upset that they decided to go with the liquid gold pun. But at the same time, I'm also okay with it because the Americans are going to defend Dominic Green because they believe there is oil. And that's what they are protecting. They don't know that it's water. that they are fighting for. But so this is all part of the subterfuge. It's, all this stuff is interesting to me. But sure enough, M has Bond arrested by 4 men. They go to the elevator, and Bond, like Captain America, takes out everybody in the elevator. It's only 4 dudes to Cap's 8 or something.
Yeah. I think it's so hard to remember when stuff comes out, because it's like, how close was that to, what do you call it? Winter Soldier? Yeah, Winter Soldier.
I think Winter Soldier was 2 or 3 years in the future from this movie. It was, because this movie came out the same. Oh, 6 years! Wow.
Yeah.
I was like, because I know this was the same year as Iron Man. So the MCU is officially starting now.
I think you get first Captain America movie, and then, yeah, I guess a couple years would pass to get to the second one.
Yeah, but, we had our first big time elevator fight here.
It's fun.
It's really just there for, a short sequence. It's so short, but it's so visceral and so good. And it leads to Bond now on this part escape, part mission briefing with M. Like, it's so dope because Bond keeps catching up to M, and they're talking about the ongoing mission to be like, okay, you do this, I'm going to do this, you do that, I'm going to do that, and we're going to work together, but everybody's still trying to capture you.
Yeah, it worked pretty well.
Yeah, so that, another 10 on 10, brilliant scene, easily worth watching. If there are memes from this movie, this is the second one that I want there to be, where, you're trying to get away, but you still have to talk to your boss, or your boss is trying to fire you, but you're still required to get the job done before,
I think it happens in a couple of action movies, but yeah.
Yeah, so it's, I just love it. That's really all I wanted to get to, was that we had my other genuinely favorite thing in this movie that just happened now, and I do like, because our next scene is the Felix Leiter and Bond scene. Bond gets in touch with Felix. Greg Beam, I had to think of what his last name was, is like, you're going to take him out. We're going to send all these dudes in, and we're going to capture Bond because we want that oil. We want that oil. So Bond and Felix meet, and they discuss everything that's going on. And I love the friendship that they have. We get such short sequences with them together. And I'm like, this is the second time they've met, and I truly believe that Bond will get invited to Felix's wedding one day.
Yeah. Oh, he does get a nice little jab on James Bond to be like, you're concerned with quantum kind of making this country desolate by stealing everything that's of value. That's pretty rich coming from a Brit.
I'm glad you guys learned your lesson, but you do realize, you're responsible for most of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a good little jab. And it's,
I did note that this gunfight, chase, etc. is not muted. I'm trying to, was there a point then? What? Was there a turn in Bond's psyche that we're supposed to be seeing? It just doesn't feel like it. He talked to Camille in the sinkhole for a bit to get her revenge motivation, but it didn't feel like she changed his mind or anything.
I don't know if the movie showed us a true healing point for Bond, but I will agree that it's around here, and maybe the sequence beforehand, the elevator fight and the rest of the escape, where things start to become clearer. There aren't moments where the movie loses focus of the action. So maybe they are trying to demonstrate that Bond is truly in control of himself now. And he's able to do the job that he's here to do.
I mean, he does. The only real point that we see is throughout this first bit, M has been like, you've killed everybody that we're trying to get information out of. And at the end, he doesn't kill Dominique Green. So he's evolved. He's gone a bit further.
I mean, kind of.
He gets information out of it.
Yeah. But, Bond from Felix now knows that all of the bad guys are going to Green's desert hydrogen-powered hotel right in the middle of the Bolivian desert. It is massively important that we know that this thing is powered by hydrogen.
Yep.
That's mission critical. But talkie scenes are where this movie does its best. I think the best villain scene is the final scene between Medrano and Green. When Green is essentially like, look, we don't care about politics, left or right, conservative or liberal. We don't care what your politics are. We're here because you agreed to sign on the line. If you go back on your deal now, we're going to find someone else who will agree to sign on the line, and we're going to pay for them to overthrow your government. And while everything about their plot is hyper-localized and very small scale compared to other things, at the same time, like, they've laid out the villainy in a way that is so succinct and good that I'm like, yeah, I like it. The people who have all the money in the world, they don't care about which politicians they're buying. They just want to buy the politician.
Yep.
So I did like that a lot. That was a pretty good sequence.
I think it's the only time that he really tries to be super intimidating and confident in his ability to be intimidating. It works, but it doesn't quite work audience level.
Yeah.
He's coming into his meeting, munching on an apple.
He's not intimidating. He sucks as a villain. He doesn't suck as a villain. I actually think he's probably one of the better villains, despite most people hating him. I think that there are times, especially here at the end, when they decided to try to make him as the action villain, and he's not that. He is not the action villain. And so it doesn't work when he makes that turn. But, I'm still single thumbs up to that villain speech and revealing the way that Quantum operates as an organization. I'm into that. The chief of police got, I think, just money. I think that's all he wanted.
Yeah,
Medrano wants money and girls. Yeah. And Green wants the water at triple the price.
Ooh, such profit.
Yeah, it's so villainous.
I mean, I will say that you won't get much money if people have nothing, even if you triple the price.
And if people are dead people don't pay any bills. That's one thing that people tend to forget when they are trying to charge on the basic necessities of life. Anyway, the chief of police is on his way out, and Bond is going to set off the final big action sequence in a very explosive way. At least I think it's the final one. I could be wrong. There might be more.
Like, he fights the dude and all the explosions for the last thing. But he starts by shooting up the car garage. Mm-hmm.
Sending a car into reverse for some reason. I guess the guy was going into reverse so they could get under the blast shields.
Oh, yeah.
But Bond shoots him, and the guy hits the gas and crashes into the first hydrogen fuel cell which will set off a chain of explosions. At some point, Camille got into the hotel and she wants to kill Madras, but she's gonna free. No, she frees the other girl who was there, and Madras gets the drop on her. And they are doing
his first name Madras?
No, I don't know if we ever hear his first name. It's General Madras.
Madrano?
Madrano, thank you. I'm sitting here going off a memory of a villain I don't even like, and I'm saying his name wrong. General Madrano, thank you.
We're going to get it right.
We will at some point. So that's going to be one part of this big action set piece is going to be the fight between Camille and Madrano. That will not go well, but things will get lucky towards the end. And it will be circumstance that ends up taking out Madrano. But we'll get back to Camille. I just wanted to throw hers out because it's a really short one and we're done with it. The sequence that I want to focus in on starts with Green, Elvis, and Bond. And then there's an explosion that immediately incinerates Elvis.
Oh, yeah.
And so our henchman literally did nothing for this entire movie. And when he finally got to square up with his machine gun and his neck brace, he's incinerated. I hate Elvis so much.
Yeah, I think you'd be justified in that opinion.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, it's a nice camera slow-mo of the glass breaking, but that's just Elvis going up in smoke. So
yep. Now it's a fight between Green and Bond. And Green is definitely not an action villain.
He doesn't have a bullet in his brain. He's not like a trained action spy.
He doesn't. We've never seen anything about him that would suggest he could even throw a punch. And now he's going up against a super spy. And for some reason he's getting the upper hand on Bond. It's the one fight in all of Bond cinema where I have been like, that is so dumb. They have done it wrong.
Yeah, I could see that being a valid point because the explosions are cool, throwing the stunt people around with the explosions, but the character is not expected to be putting up this much of a fight. And he's a villain. He's supposed to lose, so let's just let him lose.
Yeah. He even cuts his own foot with a fire axe. He is so incapable that even the movie wants to remind us that he is not supposed to be doing this well. But he'll get away from the fight because Bond is going to go looking for Camille. And we can pause everything because I have to say, I love the sequence with Bond and Camille. Camille has gone into shock because of the fire. Her family had died from a fire. She has these burns on her back, presumably from that same fire. And now she is expecting to die on her own. Bond gets in there and they get locked in, and it looks like he is about to use his gun to take themselves out.
It really did.
Yep. And it's just luck that a fuel tank gets exposed and they're able to shoot it and find a way to escape. But for that brief moment, I'm watching two spies come to terms with the fact that this is the end and they can either burn to death or take the bullet. How do you want to go out? And I like that a lot. So another thing that this movie did so well.
Yeah, it was kind of callback to Mathis just passing away in the night from a gunshot. It's well, that's one way, or we managed to make it out and spy another day.
Yeah, and when they get out, they see that Dominic Green has hobbled about 3 miles away.
He didn't find the car. They found the car. They catch up to him.
Yeah, it's and as you mentioned significantly earlier, they throw Green into the desert. Bond gives him some motor oil and says, I bet 20 minutes and you're going to drink it. And then we later on cut to Bond talking to M, and I think it's even after the Canadian scene, but the point is Dominic Green did indeed drink the motor oil, but he was also found with bullets in him, and Bond did not correct M again to be like, no, I didn't put those bullets in him. Quit saying stuff. But, before they have their scene with M, we've got to have that tidy wrap up to both the last movie and the Canadian operation.
Kind of, because initially he kicks Dominique out to the desert after being told everything I know, and then he has to drop off Camille at some random town, but they got a kiss beforehand, and it's just like unclear, unbelievable. Like, you guys did survive something, you saved her life, like, you're about to get resolution, I guess, on Vesper.
It's like when Bond kissed Wei Lin. Like, we have to have Bond kiss the girl at the end. So
sure, even if in there before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no rapport. There's no romance, but we got to have that kiss.
Yeah. So I don't know if they planned about fixing the dams or what. I was just thrown off by the inclusion of this kiss that, like, maybe it's a kiss between friends, Yeah, that's a thing.
But yeah, then we're off to Russia, where Bond confronts a man who has a Canadian girlfriend, and it's a pretty intense sequence where Bond is rightfully upset and looks like he is about to murder someone. I also love this sequence. I will say, finally getting it to have a conclusion and to have it fully wrapped up, and to show Bond as a maturing character. Essentially, he comes in and he lays out the entire relationship that they have, and then he's like, what's going to happen soon is he's going to get kidnapped, and he's going to ransom you, saying that you have to deliver all of this information. And if you don't believe me, go call the British, I guess, like, even though you're a Canadian Secret Service.
Yeah. Oh, but I have to assume that Dominique gave him enough information to find this guy. And so that's what the whole plot was, to get information on where this Vesper's boyfriend was. Because otherwise, there's nothing to resolve.
Yeah. Like, surely Bond could go after the rest of Quantum and all these highly connected, highly powerful people. But no, the person he wanted information on was the dude that seduced Vesper.
Yep.
I mean, that's what we've got to just assume as the connection. But Bond reveals that he leaves the guy alive so M can question them.
But then he tosses the necklace away. Like, what was the motivation here, man?
The necklace was from the boyfriend. The Canadian girl was wearing the same one. Like, there's no... Like, the necklace is more of a cursed object than anything else. And now that the revenge has been completed, he is free of the weight of his chains.
I just associate it more with the Vesper character than the fact that it came from this guy that was betraying her. So it was why are you tossing away her thing?
Yeah,
I see your point.
I mean, let's think about it. He's got a picture, the necklace, and the cell phone. And that's what he's got to remember Vesper. So he is getting rid of one of his 3 mementos to his first love. But I feel like this movie had a satisfying conclusion for a 2-parter. If anything, there is a greater organization out there that we still have not fully investigated.
And we're going to take a pause on that, too. So, hope you enjoyed
Quantum?
this teaser for Quantum.
Yeah. And I will say, living here in the present, knowing the movies that are coming up, I do remember going into Skyfall believing that this was a 3rd movie in a trilogy of movies. And then discovering that this movie was its own adventure. It has nothing to do with the previous movies except that it's Daniel Craig. And maybe they'll make a reference that way. But otherwise, who cares about Quantum? We're, on a new mission. So.
New mission. I mean, I can't give a score to Skyfall, but it's better than this one, so...
Yeah, and I've said this a couple of times. When it comes to the Daniel Craig movies, I saw Skyfall twice to these previous 2 movies once. And I have not seen Spectre or No Time to Die. Those are going to be completely new for me.
Nice.
Maybe I've seen Spectre. There might have been one viewing of Spectre that I have forgotten. But Skyfall was the one that I came back to where I was like, wow, that really surprised me. So I hope that it lives up to expectations. I hope that I still enjoy it.
It'll be this one.
Yeah. So let's talk about it. On this podcast, our reviews do ratings, not grades. The primary difference is with a grade, we say a 7 out of 10 is the average because we don't want people to feel bad when their grade is, a 5 out of 10. But we, on this podcast, we do ratings where it's a 1 out of 10 and 5 is the middle. That's the average. So if we say a movie is a 5 out of 10, we're not saying it's bad. We're saying it's average. Just make sure you guys understand that because I have been known to explore the 1s and the 2s. So I am willing to call a bad movie a bad movie.
I'm not so much.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that said, Justin, what would you give this movie on a scale of 1 to 10 and why?
Oh, it was fun to realize that it was a sequel kind of halfway through the movie where it is just the continuation of what has happened to Bond while he was enjoying, liking, maybe loving Vesper in the first movie. And that coming back to haunt him until he gets revenge in this one. So where it has to drop some of the themes, it doesn't really replace them with much. It feels like the shortest Bond movie we watched. I'm not sure if it is. It's less than 2 hours, and I feel like every other movie is 2 hours.
Yeah, this is what, an hour 40 something?
Yeah. So crazy. To do a sequel, maybe it was informative to see that you can't just remove what usually happens and not have anything to replace it with and still have enough meaning and motivation to beat the bad guy. So it is in the averages for me. It's gonna be a 5.
Okay. I am pretty close to you. I will say this is another one of those movies that's ruined by thinking about it more. Because when I got done watching it, I was like, all right, this was fine. This was like a 6 out of 10. Everything came together. It was paced in a similar way as the last movie, if a little more capable than the last movie. I didn't love the action sequences, but at least the story and the plot were cohesive, and it had a couple of moments that really stood out. And then I just kept thinking about the connective threads and the rest of the movie and the horrible action sequences that never come together and account for so much of the movie. And I'm down to a 4.
In a short movie.
Yeah. So I think if they had maybe spent a little more time working on this movie, it could have been a lot better. But for me, as it stands, it's a 4 out of 10. Just a little bit below average. I do think this is a watchable movie. I think when people say this is one of the worst out there, they're wrong. It's got really great moments, and it speaks to the time it was made, because the action sequences from this time period kind of look the same in a lot of movies. Like, I can't be mad at Bond for doing what everybody else was doing. So, like, it kind of sucks that that's what the action looks like, but we're going to get to other franchises in this period of film history, and they're going to do the same thing. So, like, I can't love the movie for falling into the same trends that everyone else did, but I also can't fault it when it's a franchise that follows trends. But between the two of us, that gives this movie an average of 4.5. I genuinely think that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
Modern critics are a bit more fair to this movie in particular. We're looking at 6s out of 10s for a lot of them. And I wouldn't hold it against someone to give it a 6 out of 10. There really are some great things about this movie. Just
some things.
Not a lot. Yeah.
Just not a lot of things. A couple things.
Yep. I think the end music is one song, and it's cheekily called Crawl, End Crawl. Crawl, comma, End Crawl. Like Bond, James Bond. And I'm pretty sure this is also the last time we are going to have this particular composer for the franchise. David Arnold, I think he is done after this movie. He started during the
crawl credit music.
Yeah. It's nothing like, I just like the title of it. It sounds like video game music, but it's a single song and it's fine. It's got a cheeky title. That's really it. But David Arnold, he's been there since the Brosnan days. He was there from GoldenEye on, and he's had a couple of stinkers where some of the music was a little bit too of its time. And really, the GoldenEye stuff, he was just like the secondary composer because their main composer was kind of terrible. And then he came on with the next movie, and he's been there since. And I think he did a great job of capturing the Bond feel when it comes to music. So thumbs up to David Arnold. He will be missed after this movie, if indeed this is his last movie.
We'll have to see. But James Bond will return, says the credits.
Yes, indeed. As well as Potato Chip Pictures in Skyfall. Oh, I forgot to do all the other stuff. You can email us at potatochippicturespod@gmail.com. You can watch our shorts at Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And then, of course, please comment, review, or share the podcast. That would help us out a bunch. Okay, everybody, I think we have done it. This was a nice, tidy, short one for a movie that didn't have a lot to talk about. Exactly. Thank you guys so much for listening. Goodbye.
See ya.
Yeah, man, after doing multiple 2-hour plus podcasts where we've got so much to talk about, it is funny that this one comes up.
I mean, if you want to split Skyfall into a 2-parter, because that thing's long, and Javier Bardem's in it, and
he's amazing in it.
I think the portrayal of M as a bulldog and Bond as a bulldog, and like that perfectly makes me feel like British and stubborn, but loyal and everything that a dog is. So
oh yeah.
That imagery is stuck with me. If nothing else about the movie has really,
I guess
it's
I'll
enjoyable
say
movie.
If we are at 2 hours and halfway through our discussion, then yes, we can turn it into a 2-parter.
All right, sounds good. That'll be a good marking spot.